Hey tea heads, this is Don from Mayleaf. I have in front of me a black tea from Japan. A lot of people ask for black teas from Japan, aka Wakoucha, but we haven't purchased many black teas from Japan in the past. I find that, black tea production is relatively new in Japan compared with its long history with green teas, and it's sort of trying to find its own style and its own way of making black teas to produce its own Japanese character. That's developing, but I've felt over the last 20 years as I've been sourcing teas that that's not been quite there, which is why I haven't been purchasing them. Although, as I said, it's changing and there are certain styles that are starting to develop, and I think this really represents the style of Japanese black tea that is moving forwards, and I'm very happy that we've gotten some Wakoucha or black tea from Japan finally back in stock at Mayleaf. So let's quickly look at this tea. This is season spring 2023, in fact, 18th of May 2023. Cultivar, this is from the Benny Fuki cultivar. And I think this is a really important part of the discussion here is the cultivar. As always, cultivar is very, very important, but particularly here because, I think that Japan's been trying different cultivars with black tea, and the Benifuuki seems to be coming out on top. Now, Benifuuki is a cross between a Chinese style black tea and an Indian or Sri Lankan style Assam black tea. But Chinese style black tea, which was then transported to Darjeeling. So for those of you who don't know, Darjeeling is an Indian tea, but it's a very fragrant and a very particular style of black tea, which is very different from the Assam black teas, which are produced in Assam and other areas, which are much more robust and much stronger and much more associated with British tea culture because it was, heavily cultivated for the Brits and for importing into the UK to make those really strong, robust, malty, delicious, but, put hairs on your chest brews. The Daejong variety that is used to make pu'er tea is also large leaf variety. That's also Assam. So it's not just, in Assam that they make teas that have that robustness. But as you know, I love raw pu'er and ripe pu'er that is made from those big leaf varieties. So you've got the big leaf varieties. In black tea, big leaf Assam, I associate with malty, strong, chocolatey, very forward teas. And then the small leaf variety, the Sinensis variety that comes from other parts of China that made its way into Darjeeling, which is why Darjeeling is renowned for having that more delicate, fragrance-forward, aromatic, complex aroma, floral, fruity taste and smell. And so the Benifuuki is a mashup of those two. So you're getting the floral, fruity, small leaf, aromatic and complexity and brightness of a Sinensis small leaf from Darjeeling mixed up with the robust, the strong Assams. And that is why I think Benifuuki is becoming the market leader for black teas in Japan, and I think quite rightly so. And we've tasted lots of Benifuukis, obviously, over the years because it is, one of those teas that everybody sort of will talk about regarding black teas. But I want that mix to be right, where you get a real sense of both of those tea styles together. I'm brewing my connoisseur brewer and I forgot a bowl. So what I'll do is I'll pour it in here. And that'll be my rinse as well. And I'm gonna put the Benifuuki, I don't have a name for it yet, in the connoisseur brewer and we'll have a smell. Here we go. Okay, so on the nose, lots and lots of malt. Salt, but also salty. In fact, it reminds me of saltines, like little crackers. Or, what is that cracker? There's a cracker in the UK classic salty cracker. It's a little bit buttery. Oh, it's gone. Oh, now I really want to try and figure out what it is. Anyway, salty, buttery biscuits, malt, but floral as well. I'm going to say violets. Violets, I would say, and nutty as well, I think. Yeah, so pecans, malt, salty crackers, salty butter crackers is the predominance, but there's this like violet floral note. Now let's see how it changes when it has been rinsed. Give it a quick rinse using the connoisseur brewer, which is a lovely way to brew, very, very simply. Okay, let's see how the smell has transformed. Yeah, there's so much more of the Darjeeling qualities coming out. Muscatel, so muscat grapes, very classic for Darjeeling, especially second flush Darjeeling. Dried apricots, herbaceous like oregano or oregano if you're from the States. There is still that warmth, that butteriness. It almost reminds me of cocoa butter. So without the cacao, like just the butter, like white chocolate, basically. And it's also got some bright, bracing, woodsy notes like cedarwood. So it's a really lovely combination of the warmth and the bright, the cocoa butters, and mixed up with the oregano and muscat. I'm going to drink the rinse because I don't have a bowl, but I'm not going to use it as a guide for taste. Right. Oh, that's quite nice. I'm brewing at 90-degree water. You saw how broken up these leaves are. Now, this is a style of Japanese black tea that I hope that they're gonna change, because they're clearly sort of imitating more the subcontinent Indian, Sri Lankan way of making tea, conveyor belt style, because all of Japanese green teas, except for very, very, very minute, and I'm talking extremely minute, almost like just sort of like for show minute, almost all Japanese green teas, including all the pinnacle stuff, is made via conveyor belt. And what that means is it's not like, what I mean by that is it's precision engineering. Everything goes through very precise steps and everything is computer controlled, but it's done via a belt method. So it goes from one stage to another. It's not like in China where they carry the leaves around and bring them around, or in Taiwan. It's just different. And I think what they've done here is they've produced a black tea in a style where it's going to get rolled quite heavily, and that rolling is breaking the leaf. And because it's a more broken leaf, I have to brew at cooler temperature. You can brew hotter if you want, but for me, I want to control that extraction, and so that's why I'm brewing at 90. And it would help if my kettle was working. So yeah, you can see it here, and that's one of the reasons why I'm brewing in a connoisseur brewer, because it makes life a lot easier. Oh. Black currant jam. Oh yeah. I want to say again, like salty crackers. Imagine you've got salty buttered crackers and your black currant jam. So the connoisseur tea brewer with its fine sieve is perfect for these kinds of teas. I'm going to brew for 10, 15 seconds. I really want to accentuate the lightness and brightness of these teas, because when you're talking about these kinds of broken tea with Assam in it, with Assam as part of its genetics, I personally want to control it. Lighter, cooler water, lower brewing times or shorter brewing times. If this was whole leaf Assam, then it would be different. Whole leaf Assam, like Dianhong, like Yunnan Dianhong golden bud teas, right? Those are Assam, but they are whole leaf, and so you can extract them hotter and for longer. You're going to focus, or you're going to struggle. There you go. A beautiful russet rose, amazing color. Wow, beautiful, beautiful color. I mean, China, they call black tea Hongcha red tea. This is more red than brown. It's like sunset red color. Amazing color. And color is a big factor, especially in Japan, more than in China, I would say. When you go to Japan, they really like to look at the color of the liquor, especially with green teas. One of their quality markers is color. In China, it's less so, I would say. All right, here we go. Perfect brew. Yes. Perfect brew. 90 degrees, I don't know, was that 10 seconds, 15 seconds? Great brew. Texture, it's actually very, very oily, but then at the same time, I would say medium and brisk. Yeah, medium, but oily. Taste. This beautiful combination. Flowers like rose and violets. Lilacs. But then I'm also getting the malt. I'm getting like a touch of concrete, like stony quality, which is coming from the Assamica for sure. But the malt syrup is there. The buttery note is there, that oily buttery note. So I'm getting salted butter and those salty biscuits. I'm getting the flowers that I talked about, malt syrup, and then this mineral stoniness that, what would I associate that with? I think I associate that with some of the like Chiman black teas. Yeah. In fact, it reminds me quite a lot of a Chiman black tea. In fact, Chiman black tea is the original English breakfast tea. Before it evolved and changed and turned into what it is now. It was a more elegant, more floral, more like no milk added, bright and nuanced brightness. I don't want to say that British tea is a bit like crude, but a lot of it is. But the Chiman black tea, the original English breakfast blend, if you've tried a Chiman, you'll know. It's got that buttery note, it's got that sort of woodsy note, cedary note, but then it's got this flowery note. And this reminds me a lot of that. High praise, because finding a good Chiman is always a struggle, and finding a good Japanese black tea is a similar struggle, but when they nail it, they nail it. Just such a wonderful balance of the brisk and bold and the elegant and flowery and fruity. The fruits, bit of lychee, in fact, a lot of lychee. So rose lychee, again, classic flavors of a very fine Chinese black tea. Rose, lychee, but then the malt and the woods and the minerals. Ooh, great. Now, you could brew this stronger, and I think that this would be a great contender if you wanted to make a milk tea. Brew it stronger, brew it boiling water, and you would get a very dark brew. I don't want to do that now because I want to drink this like this and enjoy it as it's meant to be enjoyed by the producers. And it is a delight. If you've tried a Benifuuki before, then you might already love Benifuuki black teas. If you've tried them before and found them a bit too then try this one and brew low temperature and short periods of time. Yeah, those nuts are still coming through, like roasted candied pecans. Really, really good. Very, very happy. I need to think of a name for this tea. It's going to be something about the hybrid mashup of them. I can tell you now that this tea is also going to be quite punchy in terms of body sensation. So be warned. Or another reason to brew relatively light. Okay, let's have a smell. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. What is that? Oh, that's a great smell. Like eating like a... I'm going to try and mash it all together. A malted fruit cake baked in a wood fire oven. So I'm getting some, not smoke, just I'm getting this heat coming from it. Okay, maybe not a wood-fired oven, but just like it's got an oveny like heat to it. And malt and fruitcake. Aftertaste that's another reason why I picked this tea. Aftertaste on this is lovely and sweet. Maple syrup sweetness. And it has a distinct fizz around the tongue. Very lively, very, very lively, but not, I mean, it's got a touch of dry to begin with, but then very, very gentle afterwards. So that dryness just moves to this fizzy juiciness that I associate with very high quality black teas. Yeah, and it's got this, it's a lovely, comfortable, cooling, juicy, fizzy's the wrong word, but I'll go with it, like zingy, especially on the tip of my tongue, and sweet. And it's going to last a long time. A little bit of that salted butteriness is also there, right? You saw how quickly I brewed that, right? Could have probably done it a bit longer, but I'm still learning this tea. Maybe it's 10 seconds plus 2 seconds, you know, that would be maybe the 10 plus 5 or 10 plus 2. Anyway, we'll see. Check out the brewing instructions. I'll try to refine it. But yes, the body sensation on this is going to be strong. So this is going to be a tea to wake you up in the morning for sure. Not a tea for nighttime, in my opinion. Go for it if you're not particularly caffeine sensitive, but I think this is a tea to really wake you up. It's gonna, because of the broken nature, it's gonna extract more of the caffeine in it. So this is definitely a get up and go tea. I feel my brain like rewiring. It's about 6 in the morning here, and this is a great way for me to launch into the day. Definitely energizing. I can feel that from, 2 infusions. How many infusions are you gonna get out of this? I'll check, but I reckon about 5, something like that. But the rose, lychee, muscatel note, it's all there. And I think that this is a perfect, exemplary example of what a Japanese black tea what Japanese black teas are really starting to establish themselves to have in terms of character. This mashup of the fruity floral Darjeeling small leaf and the brisk, bold and malty Assams. And I think it's great because that is going to be their particular niche. I would just hope that they start to make it more full leaf, but I can only implore the producers. I cannot get them to change their style, especially considering it is, as I said, mostly done through a very sort of formalized way. So trying to suddenly change all of that is a big thing to ask. I understand. I do the same with green teas though, so, you know, doesn't stop me asking. But a great, great black tea from Japan, definitely worthy of you experiencing what I think Japanese black teas are all about. That's it, tea heads. Check out our other videos, taste our teas wherever you are in the world by browsing mayleaf.com, and come visit us if you're ever in London. Other than that, I'm Don from Mayleaf. Thank you for being a part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from those tea bags. Keep drinking the good stuff and spread the word, because nobody deserves bad tea. Bye.